Carol Burnett, a national treasure cherished for her genuine warmth and infectious wit, has long been hailed as Hollywood's quintessential lady of kindness. Yet, after dedicating decades to cultivating an image of serene grace, she recently delivered a revelation that left the public utterly astonished. Now, in her 90s, during an exclusive dialogue with Rolling Stone, Carol Burnett candidly unveiled the men she found perpetually irksome throughout her life. These were not mere acquaintances. They were individuals who profoundly shaped both her professional journey and her personal sphere. Some had shattered her trust through infidelity or acrimonious squabbles over shared assets. Others wielded their influence to sideline her from prominent programs like Saturday Night Live for extended periods. One considerably younger individual even lampooned her persona in a profoundly tasteless skit, an affront that compelled Burnett to seek legal recourse to safeguard her dignity. Thus, who were these men that inflicted such deep wounds upon this legendary television icon, and who was the one individual she could never bring herself to forgive? Among them stood Harvey Korman, once her most trusted colleague, but also the catalyst for a tempestuous confrontation that led Carol to make one of the most agonizing decisions of her career: his termination. In the glittering landscape of 70s television, where every chuckle translated into escalating ratings and lucrative advertising contracts, the Carol Burnett Show reigned supreme. At its core were Carol Burnett and Harvey Korman, a pairing so intrinsically synchronized that audiences believed they were destined to perform together. Carol embodied the very soul of the program, while Harvey served as the conduit that disseminated mirth to every household. However, beneath the veneer of applause and merriment, underlying tensions began to quietly fester. A long-standing camaraderie was demonstrably fracturing. By 1974, as the show embarked on its 7th season, viewership figures were at their zenith. CBS had committed to a 3-year extension, and the ensemble had just secured their 4th Emmy Award. Yet, it was in that same year that the fissures between Burnett and Korman began to manifest. Costume designer Bob Mackie later divulged that Korman had developed a penchant for irritability, exhibiting a short fuse and even actively avoiding Carol backstage. A silent tempest was brewing, one poised to irrevocably alter the prevailing dynamics. Some theorized that Harvey Korman had begun to feel eclipsed by Burnett's burgeoning fame, a concern that his own success was being overshadowed. The escalating tension finally erupted one afternoon in April at Studio 33, Television City, Los Angeles. The production team was in the midst of rehearsing an episode featuring guest vocalist Petula Clark, who had just arrived from London. During Korman's scene, a technical oversight involving the lighting cast his face into shadow. He abruptly halted the proceedings, tossed his script onto the floor, and vociferated, "After all these years, can't anyone get it right?" A palpable silence descended upon the entire crew. Director Dave Powers attempted to placate him, but Korman persisted in his lamentations, complaining that even Carol failed to acknowledge the issue. That pronouncement struck a deeply resonant chord. Burnett, renowned for her inherent kindness and composed leadership, rose from her seat in the audience and approached the stage. Without raising her voice, She articulated with unwavering clarity, "Harvey, I've had enough. If you cannot show respect to everyone present, then you do not need to be here." The entirety of the studio fell into an absolute hush. According to Bob Mackey's literary work, Even More Laughs, one could practically discern the sound of a dropped microphone. Korman regarded her for a sustained moment before departing the set. No one accompanied him. That afternoon, a cameraman recalled Burnett sitting in solitary contemplation for upwards of 30 minutes, her gaze fixed upon Korman's vacant chair, murmuring softly, "I never wanted it to conclude in this manner," but he transgressed a boundary. Hours later, the Los Angeles Herald-Examiner published the headline, "Harvey Korman departs the Carol Burnett show during rehearsal." CBS offered no official statement, yet speculation ran rampant. Industry publications such as Variety posited that Burnett had at last exhausted her patience following months of mounting discord. For the subsequent 3 days, Hollywood was abuzz with incessant discussion. Burnett's confidant, Vicki Lawrence, made attempts to contact Korman, but he remained resolutely silent. Burnett continued filming, never again uttering his name. A member of the production crew later characterized Carol Burnett as composed yet palpably fatigued. Then, on Wednesday morning, CBS received a telephone communication. It was Harvey Korman. He spoke in hushed tones to an assistant. "I need to speak with Carol." Upon picking up the receiver, his voice quivered. "I was wrong," he confessed. "I wish to return." The following day, Korman appeared at the team's morning assembly. All eyes were fixed intently as he offered apologies to the crew, subsequently turning to Burnett. "I had forgotten why I began this journey," he admitted. Carol offered a gentle smile, stepped forward, and embraced him. The studio erupted in a wave of applause, yet those present could discern that a fundamental shift had occurred between them, one that was irrevocable. Korman remained with the Carol Burnett show until 1977, at which point he quietly departed. Burnett maintained occasional contact, although their camaraderie never fully recaptured its former resonance. In a 1983 interview with Entertainment Tonight, when questioned about Korman, she replied with a soft smile, "Harvey provided me with more laughter than anyone and also inflicted upon me the most significant vexations." The incident, subsequently known as the Studio 33 explosion, became one of CBS's most widely recounted behind-the-scenes narratives, a stark reminder of the inherent fragility of creative partnerships when egos invariably clash. Subsequently, Burnett cultivated a more robust and disciplined approach, yet concurrently became more circumspect. She thereafter disallowed personal emotions from impinging upon her professional endeavors. However, the turbulence in her personal life was far from concluded. Beneath the dazzling success of The Carol Burnett Show, a program that etched its name in television history, lay a marriage quietly disintegrating. Carol Burnett and her husband, Joe Hamilton, once lauded as CBS's golden couple, witnessed their world of shared laughter gradually recede into an abyss of silence and profound heartbreak. Their narrative commenced in 1960, when Burnett was an emerging performer on The Gary Moore Show. Joe Hamilton, a seasoned producer a decade her senior, had previously contributed to The Steve Allen Show and The Colgate Comedy Hour. Their initial encounter transpired during a CBS recording session in New York. Burnett later reminisced, "He regarded me in a manner that instilled in me a profound sense of significance." 3 years later, they exchanged vows in an intimate ceremony in California, attended exclusively by their closest friends and professional associates. By 1967, with the premiere of The Carol Burnett Show, Joe Hamilton had assumed a pivotal role behind the scenes, serving as producer, mentor, and partner. For 4 years, they constituted an exemplary creative alliance. She infused warmth while he provided essential structure, yet even the zenith of success can place considerable strain on a robust union. Costume designer Bob Mackie recounted that by 1975, Hamilton had begun exerting a more commanding influence. He insisted upon the prerogative to approve guest rosters and scripts prior to Burnett's review. During one particularly tense meeting, he proposed excising emotionally resonant scenes in favor of an exclusive focus on comedic elements. Burnett countered this suggestion, asserting, "Audiences require both emotional connection and amusement." That marked the inception of a widening divergence, both creatively and personally. As professional demands intensified, Hamilton found himself increasingly absent from home. Initially, Burnett attributed this to his involvement in new projects. Subsequently, rumors began to surface. In August 1979, TV Guide alluded to a veteran producer engaged in a clandestine extramarital affair within a Los Angeles editing suite. No names were explicitly mentioned, yet the implications were readily understood. Production crew members frequently observed Hamilton in the company of a young CBS editor at the Show House restaurant, a venue situated in proximity to the studio. Burnett abstained from immediate confrontation, but a close confidant, Vicki Lawrence, revealed that she experienced an emotional breakdown after inadvertently overhearing colleagues discussing Joe's excessively cordial relationship. The ultimate breaking point arrived in 1982. While reviewing contractual documents, Burnett's legal counsel discovered that Hamilton had established Hamilton Productions in Beverly Hills, registering spin-off ventures derived from the Carol Burnett Show under his sole proprietorship. One such project was Mama's Family, conceptualized from a Burnett sketch, yet devoid of her credited authorship. This revelation proved to be the final transgression. Burnett confronted him at their shared CBS office. According to the biography, "Laughing Till It Hurts," she posed the pointed question, "Do you believe it is equitable to transform what we constructed together into something solely yours?" Hamilton responded with icy detachment, "It is a matter of business, Carol, not sentiment." That irrevocably concluded everything. On the 3rd of March, 1983, Burnett initiated divorce proceedings in the Los Angeles County Court. The Los Angeles Times subsequently ran the headline, "Carol Burnett and Joe Hamilton announce separation." Yet behind this public announcement lay one of Hollywood's most intricate asset division disputes. Hamilton asserted a claim to complete production rights, encompassing the profits generated by the Carol Burnett Show and its associated projects. Burnett vehemently contested this, seeking to retain ownership of the show's title and a 50% share of the revenue. The legal proceedings spanned nearly a full year. Reporters from People, Variety, and USA Today maintained a constant vigil outside the courthouse daily. Burnett maintained a facade of composure, while Hamilton appeared visibly depleted. Their interactions were notably sparse. In June 1984, the court rendered its verdict, granting Burnett ownership of the show's nomenclature, while Hamilton was awarded 40% of the syndication profits. When queried about her emotional state, Burnett offered a faint smile and remarked, "We were an exceptional team until he perceived me as merely a business associate." This poignant statement graced the cover of People magazine and resonated across numerous talk shows nationwide. Following the divorce, Burnett severed all professional connections with Hamilton's production entities. His subsequent endeavors failed to achieve the commensurate success of his earlier work. He succumbed to heart disease in 1991. Burnett did not attend the funeral, but dispatched a bouquet of white flowers accompanied by a card bearing the inscription, "I wish you peace, Joe. As for myself, I shall continue forward." This concise, yet profoundly meaningful message conveyed volumes of unspoken sentiment. Years later, during an interview at the Paley Center for Media, she reflected softly, "Joe imparted to me the understanding that within this industry, affection alone is insufficient. Trust is an equally vital component." Marlon Brando. A late-night summons that ignited Burnett's indignation. The third gentleman to feature on her list was Marlon Brando. Certain narratives circulating within Hollywood may initially appear as mere gossip until their veracity is confirmed. One of the more peculiar incidents involved Carol Burnett, CBS's reigning queen of comedy, and Marlon Brando, who had recently captivated the world with his performance in The Godfather in 1972. It was a tranquil summer evening in July of 1972. Los Angeles lay largely dormant, its hills dimly illuminated along Coldwater Canyon, the locale of Burnett's residence with her two daughters. At precisely 3 a.m, the telephone rang. The housekeeper, mistakenly believing it to be an urgent studio matter, roused her from sleep. Burnett answered the call in a state of grogginess, only to freeze upon hearing a deep male voice declare, "Carol, it's Marlon Brando." Initially, she suspected a prank, until he casually mentioned observing a rerun of the Carol Burnett show on CBS. Upon recognizing that it was indeed Brando, she extended a polite expression of gratitude, anticipating the conversation's conclusion, but it did not transpire. The dialogue continued for over 30 minutes. Brando expounded on the craft of acting, the intricacies of Hollywood, and articulated the television medium's need for more women possessing her caliber. His voice gradually softened and slowed, his discourse progressively transgressing appropriate boundaries. Burnett later recounted, "I realized I was conversing with the genuine Marlon Brando, not an embodiment of one of his characters. He possessed charm and brilliance, but there was an underlying element of unpredictability." As his remarks veered into overly personal territory, Burnett interjected with a firm yet gentle tone, "Mr. Brando, I deeply appreciate your complimentary sentiments, but it is exceedingly late. I have an early commitment tomorrow." She terminated the call under the impression that the matter was resolved. By morning, however, Hollywood was engulfed in a flurry of discussion. The Hollywood Reporter emblazoned the headline, "Marlon Brando calls Carol Burnett at 3:00 a.m." The Los Angeles Herald-Examiner followed suit with, "Brando finds inspiration in CBS's comedy queen." Notorious gossip columnists Luella Parsons and Rona Barrett asserted that the call had extended for over an hour and that Brando sounded smitten. CBS issued a statement clarifying that the call was entirely of a personal nature. Incensed, Burnett implored her public relations team to quell the burgeoning rumors, yet the narrative continued to propagate. An anonymous source even alleged that Brando had initiated another call days later, which Burnett declined to answer. According to Vicki Lawrence, Burnett felt profoundly humiliated and incensed, harboring fears that the public might misinterpret the entirety of the situation. During a luncheon engagement at Musso and Frank Grill, she confided in her friend. She articulated, "He crossed a significant boundary. I find it incomprehensible that an individual of Marlon Brando's stature would deem a late-night telephone call acceptable." Following that particular evening, Burnett made a conscious effort to avoid him entirely. At every social or professional gathering, she meticulously ensured that they were never photographed in the same frame. At the American Film Institute Award ceremony in 1974, when Brando unexpectedly materialized on the red carpet, she immediately averted her gaze. Reporters speculated this was mere coincidence, but those privy to insider information understood the underlying reason. From that point forward, her monthly public relations itineraries incorporated a discreet notation: avoid events where Brando is present. This directive was never publicly disseminated, but a former CBS staff member corroborated in Hollywood Inside Out that Burnett consistently maintained a deliberate distance from any occasion where Brando might be in attendance. Brando himself never publicly addressed the incident, although acquaintances reported him once making a jest to the effect of, "Carol takes matters too seriously. It was merely a conversation." Rather than alleviating the palpable tension, this dismissive remark served only to intensify it, further solidifying his reputation for inherent arrogance. For Burnett, the matter transcended mere personal offense. It evolved into a lasting lesson concerning boundaries and the cultivation of trust within the realm of show business. From that night onward, she adopted a more reclusive and guarded demeanor. One former production assistant recalled Burnett never again answering telephone calls after midnight, not even those originating from CBS. However, the ensuing setback would inflict even greater pain. This time, it was not a private slight, but a public indignity witnessed by hundreds of distinguished Hollywood attendees. The offense originated from Cary Grant, who overtly ridiculed Burnett's characteristic brand of humor. Hollywood in 1968 was synonymous with opulence, effervescent champagne, and colossal egos. The Carol Burnett Show had recently ascended to the status of a cultural phenomenon, sweeping multiple Emmy Awards and catapulting Carol into the firmament of television's most luminous stars. In that same year, Cary Grant, the embodiment of timeless elegance from Hollywood's golden age, received a prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award from the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Two distinct stars representing two disparate generations. Their paths should have intersected solely for the purpose of exchanging cordial congratulations. However, on that particular evening at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, a single, careless utterance precipitated a rift between these two luminaries that would never fully mend. The gala, held within the hotel's Grand International Ballroom, was graced by the presence of numerous legendary figures, including Lucille Ball, Gregory Peck, Elizabeth Taylor, and Jack Lemmon. Carol Burnett arrived adorned in a deep crimson gown expertly designed by Bob Mackie, exuding radiance and self-assurance. Following the award ceremony, she approached Cary Grant's table, champagne flute in hand, prepared to extend her felicitations. Film critic Roger Ebert, an attendee of the event, later chronicled that as Burnett neared the table, the atmosphere in its vicinity underwent a palpable transformation. A director seated adjacent to Grant attempted to alleviate the burgeoning tension by remarking, "Have you had the chance to view Carol's show? The entire nation adores it." Grant responded with a subtle smirk. His intonation was smooth, yet subtly imbued with derision. "Oh, that program, the one where she flails her arms, contorts her facial expressions, and engages in excessive emoting. I fail to comprehend the basis of its widespread appeal." Cary Grant's pronouncements descended upon the ballroom with the disruptive force of a stone cast into placid water. Certain guests emitted awkward chuckles, while others fell into a state of stunned silence. Burnett maintained her outward smile, but a discernible shift occurred in her expression. Without elevating her voice, she calmly retorted, "Perhaps individuals find greater amusement in connecting with authentic personalities rather than striving for unattainable perfection." The table fell into an unnerving quietude. Burnett offered a polite nod and gracefully withdrew, leaving Grant frozen with a strained, artificial smile. Hollywood possesses an indelible memory for such moments. 2 days later, the Los Angeles Times published a concise entertainment brief under the heading, "Cary Grant and Carol Burnett, a chilly encounter at the Beverly Hilton." Although the article was brief, it strongly implied that Grant had displayed a patronizing attitude towards Burnett's unpretentious comedic style. The narrative swiftly disseminated throughout the city. Some individuals defended Grant, contending that he was merely making a jest. But television audiences, particularly women, reacted with considerable indignation. CBS, the network responsible for broadcasting the Carol Burnett Show, issued an immediate response. They released a brief yet pointed statement. "Carol Burnett embodies a brand of humor that is both humane and intellectually stimulating. Laughter stemming from empathy, not from foolishness." While the words were courteous, it was universally understood that they were directed squarely at Grant. Burnett herself remained silent, yet Grant's subsequent actions only served to exacerbate the situation. In an interview with Variety journalist Art Silverman, when questioned about the state of American television comedy, he declared, "My preference leans towards a more refined form of humor, something approximating the European aesthetic. Contemporary television endeavors excessively to be amusing." Although he refrained from explicitly naming individuals, his intended target was unequivocally evident. Tabloid publications escalated the situation further, reporting claims that Grant had directly informed Burnett that she was detracting from comedy's inherent elegance. Though unsubstantiated, this rumor gained rapid traction, igniting considerable anger among her devoted fan base. CBS reported a twofold increase in viewer correspondence during November of 1968, with the majority expressing unwavering support for Carol. Her stoic composure garnered widespread admiration. She offered no public rebuttal, nor granted any interviews. Instead, she resolutely continued her work. During that particular season, the Carol Burnett Show achieved its highest viewership ratings to date. She even extended an invitation to her close friend and fellow luminary Lucille Ball to co-star in a special episode. Lucille later remarked, "Carol shared with me that the most effective response is to witness them turning on the television and still finding us present." Nevertheless, Burnett never truly erased the memory of that evening. When Paramount Pictures subsequently extended an offer for her to take on a co-starring role with Cary Grant in a 1970 musical production, she politely declined, citing scheduling conflicts. A close friend later revealed that she had privately confided, "I will not collaborate with an individual who displays disdain for the laughter of women." Grant never issued an apology nor alluded to the incident again. Yet in the biography, Cary Grant, A Class Apart, it is documented that Grant once admitted, "Carol is such an intelligent and formidable woman. She instilled in me a sense of unease." Ironically, his apparent disdain served only to galvanize Burnett's resolve. She persisted in portraying relatable, everyday individuals encompassing housewives, domestic staff, and seamstresses, characters whose lives, though simple, were imbued with profound heart. Within a span of 3 years, she garnered 3 consecutive Emmy Awards, and The Carol Burnett Show was recognized by TV Guide as one of America's quintessential classic television programs. From this formative experience, Burnett internalized a singular, enduring truth. There exists no necessity for contention. Allow one's achievements to speak for themselves. Nevertheless, as Carol Burnett's renown continued its upward trajectory, her very success appeared to engender a sense of disquietude among certain influential figures within the industry. One such individual was Lorne Michaels. Burnett had long accused him of exhibiting a dismissive attitude towards women and deliberately excluding her from Saturday Night Live. Within the annals of American television, this particular situation remains an extraordinary enigma. For nearly half a century, Carol Burnett, the trailblazer who forged a path for female-led comedic endeavors, was conspicuously absent from invitations to host SNL. Given her considerable stature, many perceived this as a deliberate act of marginalization. To comprehend this phenomenon, it is imperative to revisit 1975, the year Saturday Night Live premiered live from Studio 8H at Rockefeller Plaza. At that juncture, The Carol Burnett Show, airing on CBS, was navigating its 8th season and maintained its position as the nation's preeminent variety program. Burnett represented a style of heartfelt, character-driven humor, whereas Michaels was instrumental in shaping a novel era characterized by sharp, provocative, and politically charged satire. In the nascent stages of the program, critics such as Harriet Van Horn of the New York Post suggested that Burnett would be an ideal host for SNL. thereby bridging two distinct generations of comedic artistry. This observation, seemingly innocuous, marked the precursor to an extended period of profound silence that endured for decades. Within the corridors of NBC, Burnett's name reputedly surfaced during discussions pertaining to the second season in 1976. However, Michaels allegedly dismissed the proposition, stating that she did not align with the show's prevailing spirit. According to the account presented in Live from New York, published by Back Bay Books in 2002, one editor recalled Michaels characterizing Burnett as emblematic of old television and asserting their commitment to doing something new. That particular remark fueled years of persistent speculation. In 1981, journalist Tom Shales penned an article in the Washington Post asserting that Burnett had expressed a desire to host on multiple occasions but had consistently received no response. The article incited widespread outrage. Hundreds of fans inundated NBC with correspondence questioning the rationale behind the nation's most beloved female comedian being overlooked. A week later, NBC issued a succinct statement. Guest hosts are selected based on the specific content and tone of each season. Few found this explanation entirely convincing. In reality, Burnett had never publicly solicited an invitation to host, yet numerous insiders indicated that she felt quietly disregarded. During a late 1980s appearance on Larry King Live, when queried about the matter, Burnett responded with a gentle, ironic smile, stating, "Perhaps I am simply not sufficiently edgy for their taste." Those who had collaborated with Michaels described him as rigidly uncompromising regarding the fundamental ethos of SNL, youthful, rebellious, and imbued with irony, representing the antithesis of Burnett's warm, humanistic comedic approach. A former editor confided in Rolling Stone in 1990 that Michaels had once rejected a proposal from a significant sponsor to include Burnett in the show's 10th anniversary special, remarking, "We respect her, but that is not our characteristic form of comedy." That particular sentiment effectively solidified the existing chasm. Over time, their professional relationship remained notably cool. In 1991, at a Television Academy event held in Los Angeles, both Burnett and Michaels were scheduled to deliver remarks. Journalist Bill Carter of the New York Times later recounted how the audience accorded Burnett a standing ovation. A few moments elapsed before Michaels ascended the platform. Burnett remained in her seat, a subtle smile gracing her lips, her gaze locked onto the lens. The segment broadcast on Entertainment Tonight, promptly earning the moniker of the most chilling expression to emerge from Hollywood. This anecdote might have receded into obscurity, but in the year 2023, NBC unveiled The Carol Burnett Show, 90 Years of Giggles and Grace, a tribute to her enduring impact. In a conversation with a correspondent from The Hollywood Reporter, an interviewer inquired whether she harbored any remorse about never helming Saturday Night Live. Burnett offered a gentle smile and responded, "It seems they had no need for my presence, and conversely, I found no necessity for theirs." This singular statement shattered a half-century of unspoken sentiment. In less than a day, the hashtag Yes, Invite Carol to SNL exploded across the digital landscape, with countless admirers imploring NBC to finally set matters straight. Later, During a discussion at the Paley Center for Media, Burnett mused, "There are individuals who fail to grasp the inherent strength found in compassion." Following this, she opted for a reduced presence in contemporary broadcasting, aiming to safeguard her enduring persona. Nevertheless, destiny had an unexpected turn in store.